hard part of those combos. Like the Kunkka X's into disables were really good, but then their follow-ups. As they approached the fight, they stacked a lot of stuns. They had a lot of just missed timings throughout the fights off of the original initiation.
Yeah,
which,
but that
which
still is all
bothersome.
about like practice and not just the Kunkka knowing what to do and how to follow up his own abilities, but everybody as a team how to play around it. So I do think that it's something, well, whether or not they practice it significantly, they very clearly weren't comfortable in their own skins at that point in time, and they just weren't able to really execute on the tricky parts. Like, it's not just about the timings for one hero, it's the timing for all heroes playing around it. So
do you guys actually like the Crystal Maiden pick here? Or is it just me who thinks it's kind of not good?
I think the Southeast Asian teams have actually been running it very well. All the teams that do pick up Crystal Maiden.
So it's primarily Clutch is 18-4 with CM in the last month.
How do they run it exactly?
They really
just
like that
pair it
combo.
in the safe lane and jungle with it, or they just lane it completely?
there's been like one team that's done a little bit of jungling with it, but it's almost
Just
exclusively
laning?
lane.
It's almost exclusively a safe lane support.
It just seems because you have the Darkseer, you have the Slardar, which, I mean, obviously amp damage is good. The Weaver is super Ghost Robe. Then you have like the Crystal
But it's
Maiden
almost
Darkseer
exclusively
laning.
It's almost
team
exclusively a
fight
safe lane.
composition,
It's almost
so then you're going to want like
exclusively a
a
safe
It just seems because you have the Darkseer, you have the Slardar, which
I think
mean,
the
obviously
physical
like TA or
aspect
something.
I think the physical aspect is already somewhat covered.
Just with the Weaver, you
I think it definitely could have some more, but I would like to see some more AoE.
Yes,
And the thing about Crystal Maiden is that the aspect is already
She's not so
somewhat
much for
covered.
just with the
AoE.
Weaver,
I think it definitely could
her skill
have
set
some more,
is
but
really-
I would like to see
I
some more
wouldn't say
AoE.
really good, but
Yes.
And
decent.
the thing about Crystal
The more
Maiden
important thing
is
is
that
that all of
aspect
the
of heroes utilize that extra mana very well. All of them
Yes.
low cooldown, and they all do a lot in the early game. Constantly having mana for Ion Shell, Shikuchi spamming. Even for Slardar, he has some mana issues.
Especially after the
spamming
Darkseer
stuff like
nerfs.
that. Yeah, exactly.
The Surge and the Iron Shell is so expensive now, and without the Arcane Aura, like, it actually feels almost impossible to consistently lane. And we've seen some Darkseers just go right into the jungle, because at least they can keep their clarities rolling that way. But yeah, I feel like TnC overall have a pretty well-rounded draft, but I'm looking at Clutch Gamers, and they've got some incredible team fight. You've got like Gyro and OD stampeding around and just doing work. And I also look at this as an incredible Rubik game. You've got so many great spells to steal from TnC, and I have pretty high expectations here for Clutch.
I mean the the Weaver alone almost makes it a decent Rubik game, but yeah, he's got some steals from us as well. Jacobs is a little bit of an interesting case. Clutch, I believe, is 5-0 with that hero over the last 30 days, but they haven't run it at all in this tournament so far. So we've seen some of the teams explore this hero around the 6 regions. We've even talked about the new sort of QO Ags first into Satanic build. I don't. Grant's laughing at me for good reason, but I don't know that I love the hero here.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too strongly.
I just
about
feel like that hero
Clutch Gamers.
gets amped and it's dead.
Templar Assassin.
Going for the Templar
Oh,
Assassin here.
God. Okay,
Yeah,
I like it a lot more now.
Any kind of single target physical damage output from any heroes can really chuck down a Gyrocopter. Lifesteal used to be considered really strong against him, single target versus AoE. But the TA here, it's kind of a yin-yang relationship. Obviously, TA is able to obliterate the Gyrocopter with a little bit of help from the amp damage, but Gyrocopter also burned through refraction instances very, very quickly. So it's going to be a very interesting lane back and forth. I actually think that the drafts are fairly even.
I somewhat agree with you, but if I had to pick a team right now, I would definitely go with TnC simply because time and time again, they are always successful with their Darkseer Slardar or Darkseer
For sure.
Spirit. Yeah. And I think just off of that alone, I'm going to have to give this game to TnC.
No, I'm going to go back to what you said, Yasin, about the last pick for TnC, because I was actually leaning very strongly in your direction that their mid, they didn't necessarily need another physical damage dealer, but once you see that Gyrocopter come out,
Right.
you know he's going to get amped up in the fights, and you now have 2 heroes, one hero that can just blow him up and another that can chase him down, probably 2 heroes that can chase him down. I really think that Gyro is extremely vulnerable in those mid-game engagements, so I'm going to go with TnC as well. Grant?
TNC's draft just all around better. I like the fact that they always have the Crystal Maiden who can TP in and save the TA if needed, while on the other side, you're going to TP in someone like a Rubik and Ogre who can't really do the same thing. I think TNC's draft is just way easier to accomplish overall.
All right, and so Blaze, you're going to go with Clutch?
I think so. I don't think it's going to be a one side or another. I think it's going to be a very close matchup. I think that, again, the drafts are almost entirely even in my mind, but I think that Clutch might be able to edge this one out.
All right. Panel is 3-1 in favor of TnC, but we do think this is going to be an extremely tight matchup. Again, this is a best-of-3 series. Game 1 just starting now. This is win or go home for these 2 teams out of the SEA regions, and with that, we throw it out to our casters.
to ensure that Cuckoo has an okay time, doesn't get.
It's more when they were placing it, they didn't want to like walk across the river. Maybe they were expecting their smoke to break, that kind of stuff. It doesn't seem much, but the risk of placing that ward is also very low.
Okay. Well, Gyrocopter, this is the build that I think we've been seeing more often than not. The tangos, and then just fill up your inventory with ironwood branches to get some more value out of that. So already 8 tangos on the gyro, and then is going to be able to continue to survive and spam heals against the Darkseer. This feels like it makes a lot of sense. How do you feel like it matches up here, a Darkseer against a Rubik and a gyro lane?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fine for clutch gamers. If TnC wanted to push the button a little bit more, they could have put the Slaughter there as well, but instead I think they're going to make sure that their safe lane is, or mid lane rather, is going to be okay.
You mentioned that was kind of a safe ward, but unfortunately it already gets taken out already by Armel, so they're going to get one of the D wards, and it does not look like TnC are going to find a D ward in return. So a little bit unfortunate there. Some possibility of good luck or scouting ends up coming to the tune of clutch gamers getting that in the mid.
Yep. We're going to see Boom back here. Actually, now that I think about it, that ward on the ramp is terrible. Here's the reason, right?
Okay.
You have a TA. They have an Ogre.
Yeah.
Ogre is going to come in to ignite you. He's expecting you to tick meld to dodge the ignite. So to one-up that, he's going to bring sentries, and he's going to put it in the mid-range, right? That's the reason why they dewarded it. Not because they scouted it, because they were preparing to ignite him. And they just so happened to put the Observer there. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, that definitely did. That makes a lot of sense. And
Then that ward on the ramp is just like free 100G on the other side. It's just not good.
Rough. And you can see also Ogre continuing to go in there, and with the Orb of Venom as well as the Ignite, just constantly spam out the harassment against Cuckoo. Not a great lane. We haven't talked a whole lot about what was going on up in the top side, and Hana took a good bit of harassment from the Weaver as well as Rior playing on this Crystal Maiden. Needs to be careful, although you don't have the CM Aura yet, so not going to be able to spam that as effectively until he gets that level 2.
Gonna make sure that this pull does not happen. Honestly, like, he's got boots. Honestly, he will not die here. And I don't think CM harasses. Like, look at him. He's just running away. There's no way that a CM by himself could actually drive away a Centaur. I think even with the Weaver coming in, unless the Weaver is like 4 or 5,
right?
I think the Centaur should be fine.
Okay. Keep our eyes on that one. See
but if Tim's comes in with Haste, that's a different story.
Nice rapping. I do believe that they scouted him though, and yeah, he's just going in for the pickup of the bounty rune along the way. Runs into Bombax, the Ogre, and is going to go for a wraparound. Isn't going to be able to make anything happen here against Armel. He's been having a good time so far for himself. 13-10 in comparison to the 5-3, and Cuckoo, very far forward, is going to be slowed by this. If they can get into range for an Astral in just a couple of seconds, it was a good stun there onto Armel, but he still might be in a little bit of trouble. They're thinking about going for an imprisonment, but they don't decide to go for it.
Cuckoo really hanging around with low HP. He's trying his best to play as aggressive as he possibly can, because he understands that he's really losing the lane that he shouldn't be losing. Mostly thanks to the fact that the Ogre is in the lane.
I got boots that are now on him as well, and decides to bring that out over any other region. So just playing around this Fairy Fire and Refraction to the best of his abilities.
Oh, he's got a Shrine to work with, and he'll pop it right now. But look at the CS differential here. He's got 8 CS to 16 and 11 denies. This is not looking great here for the TA, who normally you pick her last to dominate the mid lane, and she's getting wrecked.
Yeah, I think that also it has to do with the Gyrocopter a little bit later on, a hero that's traditionally really hard to stay alive through that high physical damage, as Armel is just going to get punched in the face a few more times by Tims. But I think that, like, in the mid game probably, there's a lot of potential there for her to just blow up the Gyro if she even gets, like, middling farm. I don't know.
I could see that happening, but I also could see Clutch Gamer getting double, triple 4 staffs.
Yeah.
And suddenly your job as a hero assassination kind of play is not going to be as effective.
Okay. Well, Darkseer in the meantime goes in, steals away one of the
Slaughter gets lifted towards back, and he's going to eat a Hoof Stomp.
Oh no.
Fatebolt's going to take the kill. So Slaughter trying to go for the Rune Steal, which I think he got, but then Fly Solo made a TP to the Shrine and then punished him very heavily.
All right, well, first blood goes to the favor of Clutch Gamers, and I don't know, I feel like they'd be really happy in this laning stage so far. Like, your off lane isn't getting a lot as far as the Centaur is concerned, but he is at least getting levels, and your mid is just completely dominating at this point.
Yeah. I think a large part of that is the TA not taking Mel to dodge these Ignite. Yes, there was the Sentry earlier, but Sentry obviously only lasts 3 minutes, so I feel like Cuckoo could have at least gotten a second point to, or a first point into Mel here.
They're going to just be able to go for another imprisonment there, another deny. I mean, it's not as if it's all completely terrible for her. She's got boots, she's got herself a bottle now as well, and is starting to catch up in CS. But that early levels and the fact that she's almost a full level and a half behind where the OD is, that's where it really starts to fear. Oh, now she's caught back up a little bit.
It's not terrible in the sense that she's not dying, but she's not really fulfilling her role in the lane, right? She's not dominating. And sometimes as a TA, you have kill potential to the other mid. You have 0 kill potential against the OD because she could always Astro you when you're going on him. So he's kind of just sitting in lane and losing. And you know the OD of these days always go for Hannah Midas. So you know he's going to shoot further and further ahead.
Yeah.
And Cuckoo, I mean, he's going to go either Blink or Deso. So it's not exactly catch-up items in that sense. So I don't know what TA is going to do, but this is Cuckoo. We saw him yesterday holding the mid lane 20 minutes straight by himself. Yeah, so we know he's a gamer.
If you didn't catch that, game number 1 was it, I believe, of the Faceless versus TnC match was just an absolute treat to watch. But movement in now towards the mid lane. They want to go into Armel. Hesitated for a second, but they will not be able to punish any further. And now they could have even gone for rotation. They're bringing the Darkseer into that one. He wanted to get involved too.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And now Rubik gets to take the haste rune, take the bounty rune, runs around. Now Darkseer suddenly might be in a little bit of trouble.
They could think about going. It's too hard with all the stuff that they've got in the area. So yeah, Fly Solo just going to punch her. All right, no, they're going to use the call down, so they pull him back in. Rocket Barrage as well, Fateful to boot, and they get the kill. All right, they did it.
That was actually like picture
Perfectly
perfect.
executed.
Yeah. Like if he just surged a tiny bit faster or was not in the center of that call down, I think he would have made it out.
And you think about the whole dynamic of that movement. He goes in, steals the haste rune from the Darkseer, steals the bounty rune from the Darkseer. Cuckoo goes to check, and then he goes in and finds the kill.
Boomback is going to stun the Slaughter, and he's taking the tower shot. Slaughter took a double edge to the face as well. And Clutch Gamers, 3-0. All right.
Yeah, off to a hot start. Very well played. So, yeah, right now, I don't think that there's a whole lot more that they could be wanting. It's almost a 2,000 gold lead, 1,500 experience. Clutch Gamers looking quite good. And this is, again, I think that they've proven themselves throughout these qualifiers to be one of the top teams in Southeast Asia, clearly to be in the top 4.
Oh, for sure.
But probably going into this, if this is some people's first look at Southeast Asia, they'd be surprised that TnC are behind at this early stage in the game.
Yeah, I mean, being ahead obviously is a very good advantage to have, but a lot of these games that we've seen in C is not really decided just from the laning stage. In fact, it's who makes the better mid-game and late-game decisions, and that's how Clutch Gamer lost 2 of their games yesterday against Mineski. They just got outplayed in the late game, so we'll see if TnC could, you know, make the same plays that happened, that beat Clutch yesterday, or will Clutch actually clutch it up in the late game.
There you go. I kind of like this play as well. Tim's playing on the Slardar, who's traditionally a little bit tough to farm on, and they stuck the Ion Shell on him so that way he could get a little bit more gold more quickly. Now you see Abang as well, and Boblast moving in, trying to take down Cuckoo here. They get the Fire Blast, but the Shrine came off, and now they need to run. Slowed up by the TA trap. They're going to continue the chase.
More TA traps.
It does look like they are going to be able to. Now Stampede comes out.
Okay. All right. 2-man rotation, drew 2 TPs, and got a Stampede out of it. Not too bad, but Cuckoo goes right back to farming. I gotta say, with that Ancient stack, he's recovering quite admirably, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what he needs to do on this hero, but Hana in the top lane, he's getting gone after and not quite able to find there the Fire Blast to set up a kill. But in the meantime, Armel just mid, pushing out the lane. They're gonna have to deal with this. Rior is gonna sit here and soak up experience. And Sam H, are they, how did that creep wave get all the way over there? He's cutting the creep wave and into the medium camp as well?
I think he just pulled it into the camp so he could farm, you know, a camp in a lane at once. This is something that you see from Darkstairs when they feel absolutely safe. Which he kind of was, because, you know, everyone was up top.
Right. Well, this is a nice movement in here as well, trying to find Abang in the bottom lane. It's still going to be tough, you know, you got the infused raindrops here as well as the headdress should be relatively safe.
Yep. The problem that TnC is experiencing right now is because TA didn't do well in her laning phase. Now look at the map, like who actually could kill people? A CM roaming around ain't gonna do jack. Slaughter without blink is not gonna do much. And Darkseer honestly is not the most aggressive offlaner, right? So they really need that TA to...
Oh my god, Tim's. Oh no,
Hana?
Hana!
Question
What
mark?
are you doing?
I'm surprised Sprint
He
wasn't...
had 1 second left, yeah. But that being said, he saw that there was nobody in the area. He could have caught up to him with Sprint.
That was a high risk, low reward kind of play.
Yeah.
Sam H.
Armel is here too. They're going in.
They got Sakuchi on the Rubik. They're going to try to lift him up. Okay, Tower giving him a little surge out, but I don't know if you're making out of there. No teleport supports coming in. Oh, they're coming in now.
Call down. They're on to several. Abeng needs to be careful. Raven is here as well. And Rior. Yeah, Rubik is kind of in no man's land. Fly Solo is going to have to play this one real well.
He's
trying to go for
Sakuchi.
Sam H.
Yeah,
Trying to find a kill,
looking
maybe?
like it.
No, not quite there. The vacuum a little bit off the mark,
Woo!
but he finds the kill. Fly Solo just all over him. Does have Sakuchi back up in one, but there's the Frostbite and the CM ulti, but he's still getting out. Fly Solo, no TP though.
Wait,
and there is
Sakuchi?
maybe Raven.
Oh.
Oh my god. Okay, that is space created if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, allow his entire team to run away. Gets a core kill by himself. Solo experience, solo gold, and made them drop so many more spells just to get that kill. Whew. We've been seeing a ton of excellent Rubik plays. Yesterday's Rubik from Rior was amazing, but right now, Fly Solo making a strong contention that he's an excellent Rubik player as well.
Absolutely. That's what you want to see. It's the playoffs, baby. And you got Hana almost there with this Blink Dagger, 50 gold away. Bottom lane is where we're going to see Fly Solo again, just stealing Sakuchi. It's such a great game for or such a great hero to be playing against with Rubik.
Well, I think a lot of it is also Raven needs to be a little bit more conscious of what spell he currently has. You see a lot of experienced Weaver players, you know, using Swarm immediately after if they see the Rubik in the vicinity.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying Raven is not an experienced Weaver, but maybe he has his mind elsewhere, and he's allowing Rubik to get this, you know, insanely mobile spell for free.
Well, they're set up now on this bottom lane and looking for Abeng. No amp damages there yet for Slardar, and I think they realize they can't make this work. They have to back out. Lane is pushing. And like you said, it's just what are they going to do at this point in the game? They don't have any great way to find initiation.
Now they do. Now they got the TA. I mean, it's not about the initiation, but rather they don't have the damage to back it up, right? Because you have a Crystal Maiden that's maxing Aura. You got a Slardar that have, you know, what, 3 points in the Crush? It's just not enough damage. Now the Blink kind of changes all of that, right? You get a Surge in, you get a Crush, and Cuckoo's going to come in and with Mel Strikes. And that should be enough.
I mean, but can you, like, they have Stampede, right? Don't you just run away if you're clutch gamers?
Well, Stampede don't work if you're Slithering, Crush, and Frostbitten and all that jazz.
But he doesn't have a blink. All right, maybe it's fine. Okay, I'm with you. They got to find the angle, though.
I mean, I agree with you. They're not going to win a team fight with the blink, but they're definitely going to be getting more picks than they have, right? Currently, they're 4-1. They have gotten 1 kill.
Yeah, it's been rough. There's no doubt about that. And pushing in this bottom lane. You have call down still. Hana, Blink Dagger is in his inventory, ready to go. They're set up for a big fight. OD on the other side of the map.
I honestly don't think this is the fight that TnC could take. And now Fly Solo gets a lift here. Crystal Maiden in a lot of trouble. Rior, okay, runs away, but will go down regardless. Now they're going to focus on the Slaughter on the backline. Stampede will be used defensively. They got the 2 quick kill, and they're looking to escape.
Yeah, and there's 6-1 now. TnC, they have to get Slaughter or something. Like, he's sitting there halfway to Blink Dagger, and I mean, that's a fight where they get 2 kills without the OD even being there. He's just farming away like a champ.
Yeah. To be fair, though, that wasn't a good fair fight.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely
for
not.
TnC. Like, Crystal Maiden was caught dewarding, right? That's kind of like a suicidal move, essentially.
Oh, Raven, maybe in some trouble. Are they going to find him? There's a movement forward. Fly Solo is there. Blink.
Woo!
Oh, nice time lapse out. Raven, but the Fly Solo is on him. Is there going to be a lift in time? He does. Doesn't want to go for it. The rest of it seems too far away. And Gyrocopter might be in trouble now.
Bottom lane.
There's the call down. Turn it back around. Trying to scare him off. Rior almost dies to that. And there aren't TPs to get here, I don't believe. So Abeng in trouble. He's going to have to TP on himself, but they're already there. The CM ulti as well as Cuckoo jumping on top of him. Yeah, I'll bang. Maybe just a little bit too big for his britches.
Yep. Good catch there for TnC. That was a very important kill to slow down the gyrocopter, but Clutch Gamer is not missing a beat. TA is going to pour mid. Can they make a play here? Blink, Metal Strike, Hannah will hoof down for himself, and now Armel coming in. He can have ult, and he will ult. There's that kill.
Down on top of Tim's. It's a hard thing to deal with, and Cuckoo out of mana now. They're going to shrine up. Same H, get inside that. Come on, buddy. Go get your regen. What? All right. That's fine.
Cuckoo gonna find a kill.
All right.
And you can see as soon as the Blink Dagger gets picked up, they could apply Cuckoo's massive damage where he needs to go, and he's being super active. And I think this is the way that you come back in the game. I don't think you farm against OD Midas and expect you to do fine. You gotta kill.
So next up on the docket, we have already seen the Blink Dagger on the Centaur. I'm kind of curious, OD, after going for the Midas, he's now going back for the Dragon Lance. Not a great surprise there. Looks like Rubik has Blink queued up as well. Is there anything that you feel like TnC, like, can they still keep on making these kills happen before the Blink Dagger on Tim's?
They have to, because it's not just about the Dragon Lance on Armel. He's upgrading it into a Hurricane Pike. Same thing, I believe, with Gyrocopter. It would surprise me if he doesn't upgrade into a Hurricane Pike as well. Once both of these pikes come out, TA's kill opportunities are gonna be diminished quite rapidly. So they need to get as many kills as they can now and take advantage of the fact that they are currently, he could do a lot of picks.
Okay.
In terms of finding the openings, that's kind of a different story, though.
It sort of, again, is why this Centaur Stampede is just so good against this lineup. And it's kind of interesting because they picked it. It wasn't even like the first pick necessarily. I like this play, though, moving into Roshan. Cuckoo should be able to secure this, but do Clutch Gamers realize it?
Well, they might realize it, but it's going down pretty fast. Fly Solo goes left to perhaps check. No, I don't think they even realize it at all. Roche, I think, will just go to Cuckoo.
Yeah. And that's something that, is hugely important in the context of this game. Like, right now, Ogre is going to be walking over in that area, realizes that there's some heroes in there, and Cuckoo has the Aegis now.
And this is one of the reasons why I personally favor... Oh, hold that thought here. Fly Solo
Tim's?
Looking for the snipe here against Tim's. Tim's.
He's going to die.
He's going to deny. No, did not get him.
All right. Well, they don't get the deny. They find something from it.
Man,
but
look at Tim's. He's got stick, boots, and he's just desperately trying to save to that blink.
Yeah, he's been poor. It's a rough life right now for that Slardar. I kind of was wondering if maybe they just stuck him in the jungle a little bit longer, or invested into an Iron Talon if maybe at this point he would have had it. But it felt like they needed him to be active, certainly. And, well, now they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yep. But a move like that, what we saw, the Roche sneak, is kind of the reason why I originally favored the TnC draft when you were asking me at the beginning of the game, like, who's going to take it, because I feel like TnC is going to have a lot more opportunities to take objectives, whether it be towers or Roche. And if I think the game was a bit more even, I think you could see the TnC draft shine a little bit more. But for now, they're trying their best to delay the game, farm up, and finally the Blink Dagger comes out from Tim's. But like clockwork, the Pike also comes out, so I think Clutch Gamer is kind of ready for that.
Yeah. Oh, they're moving in mid. They need to be careful. There's so many heroes in the area right now, and well, the Blink Dagger's actually not on Tim's yet. He hasn't brought it out, and he's gonna die. Maybe, yeah. He does go down. His Blink Dagger was on the courier coming out to them.
Bottom lane here, Bing drops a rocket on Cuckoo's face. I think it's time to disengage here for Dire side, but no, they find one in jungle. Fly Solo, getting caught by Rior's freezing field again.
Now they're walking uphill into this. They got to be careful. Fire Blast onto Sam H, but Cuckoo, he's on top of Armel, ends up going for that imprisonment. Hierarchy fight to the low ground, and the Stampede is going to mean that gyro gets out, and well, time lapse away from Raven. They don't lose anymore, it looks like.
Well, they're going to get a tower on the bottom as well. That Desolator doing a ton of work. Cuckoo not going to be able to find anything else. Which, by the way, this is one of the best combo in terms of hero picks that TnC has played quite a bit. The Darkseer plus a Slardar, but what they normally get out of Tim's is, like, I don't know, a 15-minute blink, and he's getting 4 or 5 kills by this point in the game. But Tim's is having a rare off game, but this is not the time to be making mistakes.
Yeah. I think he's been more focused on trying to get the vision around the map, and you can see that ward there set up the kill on the Rubik. There's been a couple of wards that were placed like up on this high ground here, and it's something that this team needs, but they also need some other form of initiation, because right now they don't really have it.
Has he been even buying wards?
He's been placing them at the very least.
I think it's really just the CM.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got eyes on Hannah right now, but nobody's nearby. Is he really going to blink crush this for creeps? No, he's going to amp and run. Okay.
And again, that vision, whenever he can possibly get it.
Yep.
CM looks like she's going into a hand of Midas, so maybe emblematic of the way that TnC think this game is going to go, that they're not going to be able to finish it off quickly, and she needs to get into some more items later on in the game.
I think it's always good for heroes like CM to, if you're already warding and if you have the extra gold, go for the Midas, because getting your levels is actually quite important, quite underestimated what your hero can do once you get that second or even third point into freezing field.
The way Rubik is only, what is that going to be, about 700 gold away from finishing off his Blink Dagger. He stays alive through a couple more of these fights, and with the Sakuchi constantly being stolen, there's a good chance of it. It's going to be a factor to be considered in these fights.
Sure. I mean, once you talk about Axe in the long term, you're guaranteed to steal freezing field, right, from CM. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can steal.
Mid lane, they're on top of the Ogre. He's gone.
Yep.
That's about the best pick that you could have hoped for, at least on the side of Clutch Gamers. But you'd love to not lose anybody, obviously.
I think it's a great pick. I mean, it's not about who you pick. Obviously, Ogre, it's a fine hero to get rid of. It's more of look at the map right now that is being occupied by TnC. They're the one that's dictating the pace of the game. If you look at all the other metrics, Clutch Gamer is leading in kills. They're leading in net worth. Like, TnC should not be able to make this kind of aggressive play that they were making, but because they have the double blink, they are taking advantage of the fact that they're currently just a bit stronger. And this is a hallmark of a really good team. You know, they understand the ebb and flow of the strength of the two teams, and they're taking advantage of it.
I think it also harkens back to that Aegis, that the Clutch Gamers are not willing to fight into this one right now. So I'm kind of wondering, like, when that next little turn of power spike is going to happen. Again, Rubik getting closer to that blink, that's going to be a big one. BKBs are soon to come out on the side of Clutch Gamers. We've got one that's queued up for the gyrocopter, already has a little bit over halfway to it, and OD is building towards his as well. So that might be the moment that they're waiting for before they actually try and take another fight.
That and the Centaur Axe.
Yeah.
I think that once the three cores get their 3 major items, that's when really I think Clutch Gamer will probably seize control of the map again. So the timing window of TnC is closing rapidly. I don't know whether those 3 items will come out at the time of Roche. I think for them, for Clutch Gamers, if they could get those 3 items and take a fight at Roche and secure the next Aegis, that would be huge for Clutch Gamers.
Absolutely. Right now, TnC continuing to look for any pickoffs they can find, but you can see that Slardar, he's queuing up for a Midas as well. So I think a choice has consciously been made right now by TnC. We can't end the game right now, but let's try and stall it out for a while. Let's try and get ourselves into that next tier of items and, get those levels like you were mentioning. Yeah,
it's almost conceding once the BKBs and the Axe comes out, they're conceding that phase of the game, and they're trying to go, into the next phase, like the later portion of the game, which means TnC is going to have to do a lot of ratting, a lot of dodging.
Yeah. And who better to do that with than Weaver? That's definitely a hero that's very much built for being elusive and just moving around the map. And it's also pretty emblematic of what we've seen in these qualifiers as a whole. We've been seeing the games go later and later and later. And now a movement out by Clutch Gamers does look to be at least somewhat aware of it, TnC. And yeah, they're not going to get caught out here most likely.
Yep. And this is the beauty of the TA trap, right? You could put that in Roche. You're never really afraid of them smoking like that and then going straight into the pit and taking you by surprise. For sure, they know that they're not in the Roshan pit right now. Rior, gonna port out.
Lift.
Ooh,
Oh, they got
last
him.
millisecond.
VAC indeed. Rior going down.
You know what's the worst part in that?
What?
Midas coming off cooldown, can't use it. Feels bad.
True enough. Maybe that's why he was moving out Kalisha that way. Yeah, that's nuts, though. I totally didn't expect that. I think that it was just they might have still been smoked at that point. I didn't have my
no, they weren't.
They weren't anymore.
Yeah, he just checked there, and he had the reaction rate to get that.
That's crazy. Well, creep wave moving in now. Gonna start assaulting the tier 2 tower in this bottom lane.
But look at TA.
Yeah. Just like clockwork, Cuckoo heading mid, pressure in this one now. You got Weaver along the top lane doing much the same. And there's a TP back to see if they can control up Cuckoo here. They've got him. He is going to have refraction still up after this, though, so there's the blink out. There you go. Yeah, so Cuckoo, he's fine.
And now on the bottom side, wall has been dropped right now. Tim's in a lot of trouble, but here comes Cuckoo porting in. Fly solo, just get two-shotted. A Bing on the right side. He's isolated by himself. He does have the BKB, not activating it just yet. There's a Fire Blast on Cuckoo, and the Mail Strike doing so much work. I'm not sure whether BKB is really going to protect him. The Surge moving forward. There's a Rocket on top of Cuckoo. Not going to be enough to save him. Meanwhile, Armel joins the fight. The hammer gets dropped. Boomback on the run as well. Crystal Maiden comes in. Is Crystal Maiden going to pop her ult? No, already on cooldown. Raven going for Boomback as well. The trap gets activated, and Raven cleans up a couple of kills. I got to say, all in all, a big victory for TnC. Yes, they did lose the TA, but they picked up the gyro. I guess the only thing going there for Clutch Gamer is that they didn't use those BKBs.
Yeah, they held on to them, and I think also they're probably not going to be able to translate any objectives off the back of this, which is a pretty decent part of it. But yeah, I think it's a little bit in the favor of TnC there. And you've got the Ags now done for Centaur. The thing about that kind of blows my mind is that they took that fight, like you said, without BKBs and without Centaur Ags. So the next fight, it's probably not going to look as close. And that was also with OD not in the engagement.
Well, at least not in the start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was actually a very poor communication from Clutch Gamer, because what happened was OD ported back to try to catch a TA, right?
Yeah.
And then I think 2 of his teammates also ported back to make that move. And then as soon as that happened, TnC says, okay, you still have 2 heroes in front of our tier 2 bottom tower, so let's go on you. So I think if OD is going to try to make that move, the rest of the team has to back away very quickly away from the bottom tier 2. But instead, half the team stayed, half the team went away, and that was just a classic case of retreating too slowly and the enemy team punishing you for it.
And you've also got this Darkseer now with the blink mechanism, so you can find those engagements much more effectively. Nice little TP out of here for the Centaur. They're going to move back. TnC is still taking control of their jungle quite heavily, and I'm waiting to see the reveal of the movement around the map, probably just around this next Roche pit fight, which is a relatively long respawn time. And I think that, at least for now, with like Fly Solo heading out here, placing down a couple of deep wards, this is going to favor Clutch Gamers quite heavily.
Well, earlier I did say that TnC might look a little bit weaker as the Radiant BKB comes out, but TnC also is working with double BKB of their own, right? Weaver's got one, TA's got one, and that BKB is going to cut down a lot of Gyro's magic damage output at the very least, as well as all the orb hits on the OD.
We'll have to see how this plays out. Again, pushing out the waves. You do have the smoke movement now into the Radiant side of the map.
They don't have Slaughter with that smoke, though. I think they really need that point-blank initiation, especially when you're combining it with the Darkseer.
Oh, Armel, he's up there on the high ground. I feel like they have an idea that this is going on right now. This ward might have scouted something out, or we'll have to see. It almost feels like they're baiting out Abeng right here. And they're going to jump forward. There's the crush. Astral immediately. BKB has been popped, though. Now Armel 4 steps to the high ground. The CM ulti is doing nothing. They're just going to be able to stampede away, and if they want to, they could go for a counterplay pretty soon. They have Freezing Field, and that was the BKB down for Cuckoo.
What a great bait by Clutch Gamer. This is exactly how TnC lost to Faceless, by the way. They bought these 10-second BKBs. They used it, and they didn't get anything. In fact, they lost fights with those 10-second BKB. And
they need to go in right now, though. Like, you have to go in and contest this.
Well,
you have
BKB is down.
Everything.
BKB is down for Cuckoo, but no, it's a little too late, and now Boomback decides to retreat. It was a good bait for the BKBs, but yeah, the quick moves from TnC just punished Clutch Gamer.
I think that this harkens back to something that we've sort of alluded to, is that you've got TnC that has the LAN experience playing against a bunch of top-tier teams in the world. They know when they need to make these moves. And by all accounts, that was like a terrible time to go into Roshan. But Clutch Gamers, they just don't happen to show up for that one, and then they end up taking it. Like, if you have Freezing Field stolen on Rubik, you have cooldown still, you had Stampede off or on cooldown, but that was like the only really bad part of it. I don't know.
The surprising thing is that TnC wasn't smoking into the Roshan pit, right? They were completely seen by this ward the whole time. So I don't know what Clutch Gamer was.
I guess they just underestimated how quickly, because they were moving into that area. but maybe
It is a TA Deso
Yeah.
with Weaver, with amplified damage. Like,
Yeah.
that thing is dead as soon as they go in.
All right. Maybe they're seeing something that we're not seeing, but
Yeah.
from where I'm sitting, it certainly looked like there's a possibility. BKB is there for Weaver. He's going back into the Mjolnir now.
Ana on the mid lane.
Are they going to be able to take him down?
Look at the damage, man.
He's got Stampede still.
Vacuum. Okay. I mean, if you get a Stampede out like this, BKB, oh, forced to be popped by Raven. And that's a 10-second one.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take that for a Stampede cooldown every day.
Sure, sure.
So, still very much an even game at this point. But TnC, after getting Roshan and now going to have the Aegis again on TA there, it sort of puts them in the driver's seat like we saw previously throughout the whole course of the next, duration of this Aegis.
With that, they're going to take a tier 2. Now, I'm not sure if Aegis is going to be enough to allow TnC to go up the high ground, at least in a 5v5 situation. So, I guess really the next step for TnC is to look for a pick. Doesn't matter who, just anybody. So that allows them to hit the tier 3 a little bit.
Yeah. I like the pick that Rior is going back for as well. The Hand of Midas now into the BKB for him after going for that Glimmer Cape as well. So a lot of value coming out of this Crystal Maiden, who's sitting at the top of the pack of the supports.
And he's also the one that's buying all the wards, man.
What a guy. What a Rior. Rior's been playing out of his mind this whole qualifiers. I mean, we'll have a chance to talk more about how this team has been playing, but to me, he's been like the standout player on the TnC team. Sam H has had some good games as well.
Yeah, and rather Tim's normally their big support playmaker has been looking rather soft.
Yeah.
Remember those like IO games, which he had big saves, but for the most part, just really getting hammered. And this game, he started the game as 0-6 on the Slaughter, so I don't know. Tim's need to step it up, man.
Called out by Lumi. Now we know.
It's tough love, man. Normally, he's 7-0 as a support, so I know he could do better.
Yeah. All right. Freezing Field going to wear off soon for Rubik as well. There's no great chance to use it, I would imagine. TnC going to move around the map, try and pressure out this lane. It doesn't really feel like they're in any hurry to get stuff done. With the double Midases on this team. Wait, did Slaughter not go back for a Midas? No, he switched out for a 4-step. Okay, so they only have one Midas on CM. Maybe I don't like that as much then. I feel like they need to get something done with the Aegis.
And looks like we're trying to make it close. Ooh, that's some quick reaction.
Second one as
Oh,
well.
they got him!
Armel chase. They got the Stampede though. Turns to fight. Just going to be able to take down Tim's there. He ends up falling. Trying to turn onto Cuckoo maybe as well.
Blink,
He's going to self-astral.
The team is coming in right now. Armel, and looks like he's going to be fine. In fact, they're going to go on Cuckoo. Cuckoo has a BKB active. He's really going for the kill, but the Astro baits him again. That's Aegis. Everybody on the dire side is piling in. Raven leading the way with the bugs. Everyone blinks out, and oh, the Maelstrom missing. He went for a creep. Bing is running away. Boomback perhaps will throw his life for his team. Boomback taking a ton of damage, but walking away as well. The Rockets will slow their retreat. Here comes Rior from the side. Will the big bad Crystal Maiden allow them to... Oh, Vacuum Nova, pretty good. Bing pops a BKB, trying to allow his team to further run away. Boomback dropping low. Here comes the Milk Strike, and he needs to Astro these hits. The red Deso hits going in. Armel, can he pop the shrine? No, he dies right next to the shrine. Ana trying to run away. The Hoostan will hit on the Darkseer. Glimmer Cape keeping Sam H okay right now, but look at the chase. Bing then pops the shrine to keep himself alive. Crystal Maiden Freezing Field gets dropped. They go in for more and more. Can they actually get the kill? The buyback coming up from Armel. BKB coming from Cuckoo once again here. And now Astro into a Hoostan to Vacuum, not allowing the Raven to run away, and now it's the retreat time for TnC. What just happened in that teamfight? Teamfight recap, please.
They went far too deep. I think that it's still a great win right there for TnC.
They got 2 buybacks,
but,
yeah.
I don't know what the hell, because that doesn't fully encapsulate what happened at the beginning of the fight either. They're able to burn through the Aegis of the Cuckoo as well. But that was nuts. I think Armel played that fight so perfectly. There were so many instances where he could have gone down. You saw the blink out, able to get the self-astral, fogging the TA, and then TA going for the chase and just the immediate meld strike. Maybe didn't realize that there was going to be a creep wave there possibly, which is why it ended up happening. But nonetheless, there were a lot of instances in that fight where TnC probably could have gotten out, and I still think it's worth it. Definitely, a pretty huge win for them.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a 4 for 3, but they got buyback from the Centaur and the OD.
Yeah.
I say I'll take that trade any day, right?
Yeah, if they had not gotten the Weaver, it would have been great for TnC. But as it stands, it's still really, really good. And it's to the tune of a butterfly for gyrocopters. So again, you got some of these big items that are up on this core group of heroes, and I don't know. I still think that TnC need to get more done. And maybe now is the time to do it. TA going to blink out and get the TP away as well, so they won't find her.
All right, so seeing the fact that there's a butterfly on the map. Ooh, I was going to say Templar should probably consider that MKB, but he's going to go into a butterfly zone. All right.
Well, this is the pressure that they want to apply now onto this top lane. You do still have Call Down. You have Sanity's Eclipse again. I think it's time to party.
Rarely you see an enemy core having a butterfly and your core having to go for MKB, but they don't go for MKB.
Yeah. I'm not sure. He might not have spotted it is the other thing.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Raven is also not going for MKB. He's going for a Lincoln's.
This scan scouts out the Ogre, but he's going to be the one to break the smoke. And now going in, able to stun up Raven. They have the call down available. They stun up Abang, is still in a lot of trouble, and there's no way to save. They end up dropping the ulti as well from Stampede on top of Tim's, but they're not going to be able to find him as of yet. Vacuum wall onto 3. They stole it back away, though. So turning the wall against them, it's still not going to be enough. TnC are all over him at this point. They lose OD. 100 seconds with none from him. Oh, man.
Yeah, Solon Wall's great, but now the dire side ping out the mid tower. It's right next. There's a creep wave.
Return kill. That was a nice one.
Yeah.
Well played by Fly Solo.
I mean, doesn't matter though. The 2 cores are still alive. The creep wave is right in front of the tier 3 tower. I think if you're TA and your Weaver, you just run there.
Yeah.
Go, go, go.
You know that there's no buybacks.
Exactly.
Too. So really great display there from TnC. I think it was just a solid team fight all in all. Like, they threw a lot onto the Raven there. I don't know why the OD didn't decide to jump in and go for an Astral. Maybe it was just like, I don't know. There must have been something else going on, but I feel like that was an easy save there and then counter initiation. Yeah,
I think they expected the gyrocopter to live longer than they did, right? He's got the butterfly. He's got the 30% evasion. Yeah. The problem is with the RNG item, I don't think he got any evades. So Cuckoo just like 4-shot at him.
Yeah, or if the Stampede came out a second earlier, possibly.
I think that's the issue. The Stampede did not come out in time.
Something weird was going on there. It feels like Clutch Gamers' communication has not been as on point as we saw them in their matches leading up to this in the group stages. That was like some of the most cleanly executed team fights that we saw from them. And now, a couple days later, the pressure starts to build. You're a new-ish squad of players that maybe, haven't had the most time together. It's looking like it might be a bit tough.
I mean, all of these players have definitely a lot of competitive experience. They play on different teams before, but it's worth repeating. The Clutch Gamers that did so well on day 1 and day 2 kind of crumbled against Mineski in these kind of tense late game situations.
Yeah.
Mineski just kind of outfought them in the late game, and we're seeing that from TnC. Perhaps it's off individual mistakes, perhaps off team communication. Whatever the case is, TnC just got another buyback out of Clutch Gamer, this time from the Rubik. And it's not looking good for a team that honestly was on all metrics ahead, in kills and net worth.
Yeah, you look at the net worth graph, it was that slight lead up, and then the fight that ended up securing Roshan for TnC earlier.
Right.
Questions about whether or not that was a possibility for them to take or not aside, that certainly was the turning point in this game for them. And now we're sort of in an awkward situation where, do you think that this lineup is going to be able to compete with a TA that's this out of control? 22,000 net worth, has the level 25 talent for +3 refraction instances. This hero is terrifying.
I mean, I think it's not really about... I think the two lineups are very similarly strong in the late game. It's about the net worth difference, right? Because one team didn't have to buy back 3 different heroes. Yeah. If OD, for example, has a Hex finish right now, I would say, yeah, sure. It doesn't matter if you're level 25 TA. If the OD could blink on you, Hex, and just kill you, who cares about your level 25? Right. The problem is Armel does not have that Hex right now, and instead of making aggressive smoke gank, they just have to keep farming.
Another item that is going to change the complexion of these fights again is going to be the Centaur Warrunner Refresher.
Yep.
So This is huge, and I think that it is something that you look at what TnC does. They blow up a single target. That gyrocopter in the top lane, if he stays alive a couple while longer, then that fight looks very, very different. So if you pop the you pop the initial stampede, you're not afraid to do it because you can save for the second one. That's when things start to look better, but they have to come and contest Roshan, and it looks like that's what they're planning on doing.
I find Bing's item choice fairly interesting here. He's queuing up the MKB, and it looks like Roshan is going to get checked. All right,
do you not like it, or?
I mean, MKB against Butterfly, makes a ton of sense, right?
Yeah.
But you have double refresher ags from Centaur. So I think knowing that you're going to survive for a long time, I feel like a bigger lifesteal item might help you elongate the fight.
Okay.
So I'm actually leaning more towards Satanic, but maybe Bing feels like the team just needs more damage. So I'm not going to argue against MKB versus Butterfly, but I think there's also another opportunity to go for Satanic. I'm pretty sure he will eventually get Satanic, but interesting choice.
I think that also the idea is that if you're only going to be onto the TA, it doesn't matter if you have Satanic if you can't hit him anyways. So he does have the Morbid Mask, but I completely agree with you that particularly if they can bait out a good amount of his life going down, and then afterwards they pop the Centaur Ags and then go for the Satanic, he'll be back up to full, and it's like you get a second whole fight with him.
Exactly. And they're going to try to steal Roche.
They have damage on the Ogre. They're going in for it. Cuckoo, he's going to drop that trap inside. Invis rune there as well, but they still have eyes on him. The jump forward, the crush, that's the Stampede already out. BKBs are done. They're on top of the backlines, though. Sam H almost completely out of mana. Didn't end up having enough left over for the wall. Oh, no. That was a huge, huge ulti from Armel.
Yeah, it's not just about the damage that the Sanity Eclipse can do, but the mana drain. We saw the vacuum, but there was no wall follow-up. And they just kind of ran them over. The reveal of the double Stampede. See, I was thinking about Stampede using defensively, but they're like, no. We're going to just run in and kill you. And suddenly the MKB choice makes a lot more sense, right? If they're just thinking purely on the offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's all good. And that is a big clutch late game team fight.
Clutch. I like what you did there. Yeah, and also thinking about it, you've got a different way that this game is going to look now, because Clutch Gamers, they have always been on the back foot with the Aegis on TnC, and I believe that they have Cheese also off the back of that.
Yes.
Yeah, Cheese is there for the Centaur Warrunner. So every other imaginable way to keep these heroes alive, they now have.
So I think TnC really, as much as they love being aggressive, I think now is time to, put the foot on the brake a little bit. Just wait it out, right? Or do you see an opportunity for them to go make a big smoke play or something like that?
I think that it really depends upon what they sort of see around the map. And right now their vision is very hemmed in. They need, like... I think that they can go for a pickoff play, but they can't go for a team fight. That's really what it comes down to.
And I'm pretty sure they also lost their gem in that engagement. Yeah, Ogre's got 2. And I do believe one of them was purchased by Rior, yeah. So losing the gem also is a big blow to TnC. A lot of their map control will be taken away.
Yeah, and you look at a couple more of these big items that are online at this point. You have the Ghost Scepter for Rubik after the Blink Dagger. We also have for the Darkseer, he ended up going back for the Lotus Orb. Lincoln's on Weaver with the Mjolnir. I think all in all, like, the other thing is that TA's item build, it's good for staying alive in the fights, but he doesn't do, like, the ridiculous amount of mana that scales into this point in time. Like, he ended up going for the Bloodthorn style instead. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, I think if he gets to hit the backline, he does a ton of damage, but at this point, I'm not sure whether he can go toe-to-toe versus the Gyro. And
like, look at that. Like, that was before Stampede came out.
Wait, Stampede.
I mean, he has another one if he needs to. Oh, no, he doesn't actually, but he does have the blink away.
Oh, that was close. Are they going to keep on chasing?
I mean, I think that... I don't know if you can chase at this point anymore.
I mean, this is TnC, dude.
What are you guys doing?
I mean, they picked Fly Solo. Fly Solo got caught out, I think, warding or whatever the case was. And TnC says, I don't care you have Aegis and Cheese. This is a 5v4. I'm going to press my advantage here. And look at TnC. They're pushing up high ground against the team with Aegis and Cheese.
I mean, they know that they don't have any more Ags right now for the Centaur, so yeah, they end up taking a tier 3 tower.
That's huge. That means Shrines is open. They get to take objective when the enemy team has Aegis and Cheese. I just have to repeat that.
Okay. I think that, all right, Clutch Gamers, they realize that they need to make this happen. They're going to fight around this, but it's already gone.
Yep.
So they actually can't fight. If it was actually them being able to fight around the shrine, then they could have done it because Rubik could have TP'd in, but now...
The shrine's dead.
Yeah.
In like 2 seconds. And all of this started with your 5-position support dying. People think that support doesn't matter in late game. It always matters.
Well, MKB almost completed for Raven. We're going to see what the next item build is, but Cuckoo in some trouble. He's getting that in stolen. He does have a ulti as well if you want to drop it, but not going to go for it there.
Yep. Now, this is something that I kind of mentioned yesterday when Cuckoo was playing the OD. This particular level 25 talent is so beneficial when you get those stray hits like that.
Yeah.
And that's 20 in that's going to be sitting with in the next minute or so.
And all from TA also, so now she's working with even less of it herself. Not that this hero requires a ton of mana, but...
Well, she'll need mana if she eats a Sanity Eclipse.
Exactly. So, movement now towards the mid lane. You still have this heavy contingent, you know, the TA crazy far ahead in terms of net worth. Weaver really far up there as well. But all these other heroes, they're right there with them. And Clutch Gamers have had enough. They want to think about pressuring this advantage.
I mean, Aegis is running out, so... And they do have the Satanic on Gyrocopter. Oh, Bing. Thank you for making me not look crazy when I made that suggestion.
It's a really good one. It's a great item.
He seems to agree with that. And it's really hard for TnC to go into that. Like, what do you do against a Bing with Satanic, Aegis, and 2 Centaur O backing him up?
Yeah, he doesn't care. They're all over him. Over here to the side, though, they're down on top of Rior, trying to bring him down. Stampede to follow. Sanity's eclipsed. Armel takes 2, and maybe going to be a bit more if Cuckoo cannot get out of here. So now 2 down, no buyback. Clutch Gamers all over him. We said that TnC needed to do something early. It's a scary moment. They're on top of him. Abang taking a ton of damage, but turns BKBs. Hana eats the cheese. There's the stun. Can they find the kill? Raven's on top of him as well, but now Armel has shown up, and Cuckoo going to be controlled and brought down.
Buyback immediately from the TA. Now Raven in a lot of trouble. He's going to pop the shrine back wall on top, but there's no disable on top of this. And Armel, he's got so much in. Plus 68 right now. He's taking a ton of that damage, and he looks like he might be dropped here. The Raxas still are protected. How many kills can TnC get on the way out? Cuckoo looking for a blink in. Keep in mind, he does have the Bloodthorn, and the Bloodthorn attack coming through. Oh no, he's going to get chainsawn completely here. He gets lifted up as well. His refraction all gone. Keep in mind, this is a buyback. Keep in mind, this is a dieback, and now Raven, the only one alive, the 2 supports.
Oh, they're buying back Armel. They want to push this.
They want to win right now.
That's Satanic, though.
Ooh,
That's
Raven,
save the day. Raven, what?
He just time-lapsed in. I think he wanted to kill or something.
Oh, no. All right, well, he has buyback, but... Why? Wait, why did he time-lapse?
I don't know, but he also don't have time-lapse now for the next 30 seconds.
What? I don't understand why he just
I think he expected a Bing to be much lower, and he was trying to snipe him.
All right, he has Satanic back up again now. Is going to end up getting Astral. Oh, he was actually Satanic.
Yeah,
that might have been enough. But still, nonetheless, you have the Fly Solo CM ulti going out, keeping them back for the moment. Look at this man dance.
I mean, you can't go into that. Lots of damage. Glyph's going to come out. I'm surprised they even have the Glyph. Samage going to respawn, but Raven, he's just too low. That's going to be the second lane of Rax going down. Clutch Gamers, I think they should be happy with what they got, and they're going to turn back, but Armel did buyback for this.
They're Satanicing back up for Abang.
Okay, no, they're going to stay. They want to get the triple.
I mean, TA's gone for 60. You know this.
They have Vac Wall back.
All right.
Samage needs to make a huge play here.
All the hopes and dreams of the TnC game number 1 on the back of this little Darkseer soldier. Can he make it happen? Vacuum wall looks pretty. It looks nice, but Clutch Gamers don't give a damn.
Yep, wall in fact stolen, drops it right on top of the Weaver. That is going to be mega creeps here. Raven going to try to do what he can. That is a buyback on Armel, and he's too tanky to go down here. The rest of Clutch Gamer finally will back up.
GG.
And they call GG.
They call it. Clutch Gamers take him down in the end. All it was, we talked about it, there was multiple Aegises picked up by TnC. Granted, it was in a tough position throughout most of the game, and then they ended up finally giving one away to Clutch, and Clutch Gamers ended up taking it. A really impressive display from them. Do you think right now TnC, like, how worried are you at this point? Are you completely terrified? Do you think that they can just try and go in another round, play their regular game?
I think for the most part, I think TnC actually play better than Clutch Gamers. They were winning a lot of fights that they had no business winning, at least in the first half of the game.
Right.
And Clutch Gamer, I think